Hello. I'm in the drive line, so forgive me if I gotta cut it short, but this was on my spirit to talk about prophetic giftings. So this morning, Holy Spirit put on my spirit to address those who God is speaking to, who's given the gift to prophesy. And I guess you know if you have it, and might have even been avoiding it up until this point. Somebody like me, like literally, and I still don't even feel comfortable actually speaking on it, but there are other people who call it out of me to the point where another prophet had to come from out of state and actually speak that over me and like actually told me, just use it more. But God has been giving me vision my entire life, speaking through dreams, literally giving me vision, especially when I came back to God. He started giving me vision to the point where I felt like I was going crazy. But when I would speak to it to other people, basically, he gave me things that were detailed and ended up coming true. So anywho, I know that there is an attack on people who have those abilities, but maybe aren't comfortable using those abilities. And I just want you to stay encouraged. So basically, for those who have a gift of voice, the people who maybe God speaks to in dreams, or basically just the people who hear God, you're needed. And I don't mean for clout chasing, because it's a lot of people that are in it to chase clout, just like there's some people that become pastors to chase clout. I really don't understand that, because the reality is, if you do have prophetic giftings, most of the time you have to speak things that are it comes with speaking things that people don't want to hear. It comes with telling the truth, good or bad, and that's not an easy thing to do. It's very easy to be an enemy when you have to tell people the bad news, and when you have to tell people that they're wrong. People don't want to hear that. And what I find is a lot of people who have those giftings tend to avoid it because they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to have to tell people they're wrong. They don't want to have to argue. They don't want to have to get labeled controlling. Because that comes along with it too, the passion that goes along with it. When you see the blueprint, and when you know what's right or wrong, and when you know that things are a way, it's very hard to sit back and let other people do things that you know that are wrong. And I posted earlier about making it easy on yourself, because at the end of the day, it's not your job to convince people either way. It's your job to plant the seed, say what God said, and they either going to acknowledge it, follow it, or not. But if nothing else, do your job and due diligence and just warning. So a prophetic word, since everybody loves prophetic words, I always hear about pertaining to this season. I've been seeing a lot of so-called prophets speaking on the increases that come in this season. And it's real easy to just tell somebody some good news. Oh, you're going to have favor. Oh, you're going to have blessings, yada, yada, yada. But the real is, God's tone. So, actually, before we get to that, God gave me this vision of a classroom full of kids, almost like a Dangerous Minds type classroom. Like literally folks just rowdy. You got some folks paying attention, some folks not. And you got a few people that are sitting and can hear the instructor. So for the people with prophetic giftings, those are the people who are paying attention and can hear what the instructor has to say. So what he expects you to do is speak what he said to those people who were not listening, who were not paying attention, those people who were distracted, just whatever. It's your job to make sure you get what you heard to those other people. Now, the problem is we have a lot of people who are leaning in these giftings and want to feel special. It's not about you feeling special. It's about you getting that word to the people that need to hear it. That said, for the people who have a relationship with God, for the people who know the instructor, not only did you hear the word, but you heard the tone. And it's important that you deliver the message the way he told you to deliver it. Because sometimes, hello, Miss Tammy, sometimes what I'm seeing a lot of is people delivering the message, but not quite how he said, or they're delivering the good parts. And the thing with prophetic giftings, the weight and the burden that comes with it, is having to, again, share the bad news, share the tone. because everybody like to act like God is all fruits and strawberries. So again, the prophetic word for right now in this season, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but God is very upset right now. And I haven't heard anybody speak on that just yet, but God is very upset with his people, not even with sinners, with his people right now. So yes, there are fruits attached to this season. The assignments that he has for each of us. There are blessings that are attached to them, but they're not attached to nothing. There are assignments that he's put on us. There are things that he's called us to do, and quite frankly, there are people, his people, that are not doing them. I've spoken before about consecration. This is a season. Last season was a consecration season. Now, I pray that he extends it, but the thing is, we don't know. We lean too much on God's grace. Like, oh, grace, 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 grace. You don't know when that grace is going to run out. So just do what he said to do. He said, get your flesh in check. He said, get your flesh in check. Get a hold on your flesh and not having your flesh drag you around. So that way, when he does give you whatever he's promised you, you know what to do for. Everybody keep talking about money, 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 money. But for what, though? That's like me asking for a bag of bricks, but I don't know what I'm building yet. This is your time to get your relationship with God. Get consecrated and holy so that you can have communion and fellowship with God. So that you can be listening to God, and so that you can be walking and doing the things that he told you to do with the tools that he's getting ready to give you. This is about to be a season of severe punishments that are coming. There are people who have gotten, I'm going to call them advances. There are people who have gotten blessings and promises with God, from God, under the condition that they do certain things for him. And there are people, quite a lot of God's people, who are not making good on their promises. God is going to do his promise no matter what. But he fully expects us to be part of our word, to hold up our end of the bargain. Some of these things are coming with conditions. We have a bargain. We have a part that we're supposed to uphold, and sometimes we have roles that we need to play. And if we're not doing them, what you think is about to happen? And I don't hear people giving that message, that God is upset. Because I've been getting that all this year, baby. I done got myself together. You ain't got to say nothing but what you want me to do. Stop eating meat? What else? What else? What else, God? And I know it's different for different people, but the point is, if you're not listening, or some people I'm hearing have gotten those words and still just flat out not being obedient, baby, that other shoe is about to drop. I advise you to take heed, because I'm not going to argue with nobody. I'm not going back and forth with nobody. All I know is, do it. If you're unsure about what God told you to do, consecrate yourself, go on a fast, get in your prayer closet, get in your word, have that alone time with God, a lot of alone time with God. You need to shut out them distractions and get in communication with God, quick, fast, and in a hurry, and diligently, so you can understand what your assignment is and do that. And don't let nothing else stop you from doing it, because, baby, just like the season, oh, you about to get, people would say, you about to get $500 million this season. It's a shift happening this season. Yeah, it's a shift. It's a shift in a whole lot of other ways too. So don't be on the wrong side of the shift. I pray this touches somebody. And for the people who have prophetic giftings, for the people who have vision and are in communication with God, use them. Because in this season, God wants you to use your voice. That's a gifting that he gave it. He gave it to you for a reason. It's not for you to sit back. And I'm telling you this because there's a lot of attacks happening lately. Happening to me. You know, where you kind of feel like, I want to sit back, especially because it's a lot of people that's wrong, loud wrong, and very verbal. And you don't want to be labeled as controlling or judgmental or whatever. But at the end of the day, God called you to be truth tellers. Jesus told the truth, and they didn't like it. It's a lot of people that aren't going to like you. So don't just give the nice words. Tell the truth. You ain't got to argue with nobody. I'm telling you. I've taken this position where I would let people know, look, I'll say what it is and back on up out. You do with that information what you will. But what can never happen, what will not happen, is you will not be able to say, because God, this is what God has been putting on my spirit. Actually, something happened earlier in this year when he was cracking the whip. And I didn't want to say it. You know, he was on my head about it, you know, and I was like, God, why can't you just, and he checked me. He was like, that's what I got you for. And I let it be that, you know, and I've had these uncomfortable conversations all year. Because there are people who are spreading the wrong word, and God is not pleased. Maybe he has spoken to them, maybe they're ignoring, whatever. But if he put it on your spirit to say something to that person, then you just do it. Because at the end of the day, what they can never say, whatever they do with the information, what they can't say is they wasn't warned. So just warn your people. Good or bad. God spoke to you in a dream. Get the interpretation of the dream. Let them know. They don't got to obey. If they don't, that's on them. But you told them. So that's it. I hope it helps somebody. I mean, I'm telling you this from experience. There are a lot of people that I've had to share messages with, uncomfortable messages with this year. And I see God working. There's some people that take heed. God is working with them. And there are some people that have not. And I know what God has planned for them as far as the other side of the coin. And it's even still, I pray for mercy. But don't let anybody shut down your voice. Because I see an extra wave of that, even with the children who have prophetic giftings, you know. And I was like that as a kid, you know, not wanting to be like the police or whatever, you know. But you just got to be honest. So that's it. Let God use you. Don't let the enemy distract you. Don't let your flesh distract you. Get on your purpose. Be encouraged. And that's it. Bye.